Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Sorry, I came on a little strong today. Welcome to another Tuesday edition. I see I've got Judy and Katie and Carrie and Dawn in the chat. Thank you so much for being here and checking in beforehand. Welcome in, Nanette. Glad you are here. She says, "Good evening, doll." Thank you so much. And Judy, I'm very glad you're here. I'm so glad that you finally do have time to watch. That is always well it's always good and well. We'll put it that way. It's always good and well. So how is everyone doing tonight? How is everyone doing? I I'm a little low key. Welcome in, Joyce. Glad you're here. I'm a little low key tonight. I've been up and down, getting stuff done, spring cleaning, all of that kind of stuff. So my energy is fine for the moment, but it may tank later. So we'll see how I do. Welcome in, Melina. Glad you're here. Thank you for getting in here. I appreciate it. So I don't really have a good plan for tonight. I don't have a good plan. Let me turn some of the extra off so you guys can see. Um, so this, if you do not already know, welcome in, Rayanne. Glad you're here. If you do not know, this is Follow the Goose. This is a pattern that I issued out in April. So April 25th, I believe. Yeah, April 25th. I taught this pattern on here on my channel. And so my quilt top is now complete. If you can tell, my quilt top starts with red at one end and then moves to some yellows and some oranges. And I've got some browns, and then I've got greens, blues, and purples and blacks filling in everything. So this quilt is actually folded in half, guys. So this is half of the quilt. Welcome in, Chloe. Glad you're here. Glad you made it in. So this is Follow the Goose. If you've not already done this pattern, it does require flying geese. So one thing we are going to do tonight is we're going to go over how I recommend that you do your flying geese if you are just learning how to do them. Thank you so much, Chloe. Oh, thank you, Susan. Yes, absolutely. I actually really am proud of this one because I have lost so many points because I was rushing. So this may be a quilt that I do over. I'm not sure. It was actually really easy to do. It's just a little time consuming because there are 670 flying geese in this quilt. So if you have not gone back to watch the April freebie project, please make sure you go back and watch that. That is where you'll get the pattern for this, and there is a download sheet to go along with it. So everything that you need to make this quilt is in that video. And you can make it in whatever colors you want. I did a good combination with 270 of my purple and blue that you can follow through the quilt, and that's why it got its name of Follow the Goose. Welcome in, Linda. Glad you're here. So the 670 go on the outside of the quilt, and then the other of the 270 that I did in this fabric way, 70 went on the outside and 200 went inside the quilt. You could do it with an option of 100. Absolutely, Katie. Thank you so much. And now you've been entered as well for the Super Chat giveaway coming up July 29th. Welcome in, Zaza. Glad you're here. Glad you made it in. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Zaza says, I can't imagine sewing that many flying geese. It was a labor of love. I have a lot of half square triangles left over. So there will be a secondary quilt to be made from this quilt. Now you could take all the half square triangles and you could do extra borders and do something with those and the borders if you didn't want to make a separate extra quilt. There's a lot of things that you could do. I obviously did not do the extra border with them, but I have tons of half square triangles. Most of them are sewn. A good portion of them are not. So I am going to probably sew on some of those tonight after I go over the flying geese. I am going to put my brace back on. Oh, thank you, Katie. She says y'all hit that thumbs up button to help Tammy out, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. Susan says that she calls her secondary quilts leftovers. Well, I have leftovers left over from Star Systems, and now I have a lot of leftovers as well from Follow the Goose. Welcome in, Carrie. Glad you're here. She's saying hello to everyone. So, you can do it either way. You can do whichever way you want to do them, but I'm going to have tons. So when you do this quilt, if you do not have any extra oopsies, you don't have any extra flying geese that you did not use or anything like that, you should come up with 1,340 of the flying geese half square triangles. So for this quilt, I'm just going to measure one of these and see what they're coming out to be. They are coming out 1 3/4, but I'm probably just going to trim everything to 1 1/2 because it looks like I got a little wonky, and a little wonky, is best served by, not being wonky anymore. So they will come out to be 1 1/2 inches. Susan says she finished another small wall quilt yesterday on a roll. Oh, fantastic. Judy Neighbors says she's going to lurking mode, trying new curtains. Oh, to sew new curtains for her bedroom. Oh, thank you. And thank you for the compliment on the quilt. I appreciate it. Somebody asked last night to make sure that they could see it. So I wanted to make sure that it got put up. So if you guys do not know, I have started joining William and Jess back over on my So-Called Life's channel on Monday nights. So I'm not committing to much more than that at the moment. I'm not sure how much my body can handle. So we are still taking it incredibly slow. So we're looking at just Monday nights for right now. So if you're looking for another channel to watch, please make sure you go check out My So-Called Life, and you will also see links probably over at So Blessed by Jess's channel as well. Welcome in, Denise. She says hello, everyone. Glad you're here. So glad you're here. So I have a quilt on the frame that needs to be loaded on the frame. So it's not loaded. Yes, it is only half. So it is 64 inches wide. So what you're seeing right now is the 64-inch side. The other direction, it is 84 inches. It may actually be 64.5 and 84.5, but by the time the binding is on, I'm not counting that. So this is one of those quilts that will be up for sale once it is quilted and bound. So if you have not already heard, I will be doing Christmas in July. Let me just double check my date on that because I'm running everything together. Okay, the Super Chat giveaway is July 29th. So either sometime before then or on July 29th, it is a Tuesday night, we will be doing Christmas in July. What that means is that every quilt that I have made that I do not need and do not intend to keep or don't have room to keep, that I am looking to sell will be up for auction. Thank you, Zaza. She says, love the border. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And welcome in, Katie Crafts. Glad you are here. Thank you. She says, hello, everyone. So yes, this will be one of those that will be up for sale. The one that's going on the frame right now may also be up for sale coming up in July as well. It will have a Minky backing. Welcome in, Candace. She says, hi, Tammy, and peeps in the chat. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think Nightbot is working let me double check and see if Nightbot is going to work for us tonight or not. I don't know. We're just going to do this real quick. Just to see if Nightbot is working. Okay, Nightbot is apparently working. So if you have a Facebook or if you have a YouTube channel and you want to give a shout out to yourself, just put exclamation selfie in the chat and Nightbot does the rest for us. Oh, absolutely, Joy. She says she'll be right back. So the link up at the top is for you to click to join our Facebook group. If you are not in the Facebook group for my channel, if you want to be, click that link and just answer the questions. They're simple questions, I promise. But we are also doing Sew and Tell. So the Sew and Tell quilt is already started. So that will be available in October, but you have to start entering now if you want to get your tickets for the Sew and Tell giveaway quilt. So please do not forget to do Sew and Tell, guys. Oh, welcome in, Alicia. Glad you're here. Katie Kraft says she was today was a sew day with friends today, but now she's tired. Yes. So I have not sewn most of the day. I finished out the 2 borders. Oh, hi, Stitching Life Together, Amanda. Welcome in. First time I think I've seen you in my chat. I am so thankful you are here. So thank you for joining and thank you for chatting. I appreciate it. So let's see. Sunday night, I was working on borders for A Quilt of Valor. I did get those finished today. I just had 2 borders to sew on, easy peasy. So that is all I have sewn today. Oh, absolutely, Susan. She says a friend will be there in a few minutes, so she's getting off. Have a great evening. Absolutely. We will definitely try. Okay. So for anybody who needed a refresher on how to do the flying geese for this, because I know I sometimes blow past and it's really, I get ahead of myself and I go super fast and I forget that somebody might need a little bit more information. So let me get my camera set up and I'm going to zoom all the way down, and that way you guys can really see what's going on. And let's see if I can adjust that camera real quick because I don't really want to reach out that far. Okay, that's better. I can do with that. We can work with that. All right. Oh, thank you. Oh, yay. Yes, Sean is fantastic. He will actually be back over here on the 18th. So this upcoming Sunday. So that means I have a lot of fabric to cut to get our fab farm going this Sunday night. So yes, lots and lots of fun. All right, so I'm going to get you guys over here. And I've got this zoomed in so you guys can really see me a little bit better than what we've been doing in the past. And welcome in, Susie. Glad you're here. Glad you are here. Beautiful people. Yes, right, Alicia? Everybody here is beautiful. Beautiful? Yeah, beautiful. I was looking at the pronunciation. Got to figure out the pronunciation, right? Okay, so I'm going to grab, I don't know which ones of these are dried out. I've got several of the water soluble and air soluble pens, all of those. I don't know what's still got ink in it. I have no idea. All right. Welcome in, Mona. Glad you are here. She says she'll have to tune in, be joining him Saturday morning. Oh, yes. Sean's fantastic. You will enjoy spending time with him. He is a great teacher. Just absolutely fantastic. And he is a great personality to have, when you're working on, getting your channel going or whatever. He is just absolutely fantastic. I'm actually going to zoom this camera in just a little bit, guys. So let me move that over. There we go. So you guys will still be able to see me until I like dip. I'm going to try not to dip past the camera. We're going to see. We're going to see if it works. Okay. So first and foremost, is add an IE to the end of it, Amanda. SELFIE. Let's see. I'll be listening. Have to try an errand. Yes, you are working way too much, Chloe. You are not wrong about that. You are so not wrong. Okay, so this is a pink fabric. It is a very light colored fabric. I really didn't have any other dark colored fabrics that I had in a good enough size immediately. So I went ahead and pulled this one. It was the first one that I could grab. So we're going to do the same size as what is going into. There we go. There's the link for Amanda's channel, guys. So if you've not already hit subscribe to her channel, or you want to go check out her channel, absolutely click that link and go over and check it out. Anybody else who has a channel, you are absolutely welcome to do that. Oh, you're so welcome, Amanda. Absolutely. Okay, so I really wish I had my other lights on, so I apologize that I don't. I am still working on rearranging everything. Okay, so we're going to cut this rectangle to 2.5 inches. So my direction this way is 2.5 inches, and we're going to cut it 4.5 inches this direction. One thing I really like about the Creative Grids rulers is you have one side that has your white numbers are your whole numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome in, Judy Hebert. Glad you're here. And then the other side has your half-inch markings. So half inch, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, etc. So I really do like the Creative Grids rulers for that, but make sure that you are lining everything up. There's Alicia's link. Yes, absolutely, guys. Go make sure you check out her channel as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and clip off this little extra. And if you don't already know me very well, you know this piece is 1 inch wide, so it is going to stay. It does not go into the scraps until it is under that. So I hang on to all of that. All right, so now we have our rectangle that is 2.5 by 4.5. And now we are going to take a look at our squares that we're going to be using. And these should already be the right size, but we're going to double check. And it looks like I cut them a little wonky. So I'm going to rotate it, and we're going to trim it up so it is not wonky anymore. So I'm just going to use my 2.5 markings and line the squarest sides up against those 2.5 inch markings. And I mean, it's just literally threads down here. It's not much. I mean, you can kind of tell it's not much at all. But it was just enough, and that much difference can impact how your piecing goes. Oh, thank you, Katie. She's reminding everybody who has not already hit that thumbs up to please do so. So thank you. Thank you for that. All right. So I'm going to trim this one also to the 2.5 inch marking. So let's see. We just have, again, same thing as the last one, literally just a few threads, okay? So there wasn't much to trim off, but it's just enough that it might mess with the accuracy of your piecing if you are still learning how to do all of this. Welcome in, Lori. She is going to be lurking tonight. That is absolutely fine. I'm glad you are here. All right, so here's what we're going to do. You don't really need to do anything to your rectangle. It is perfectly fine as is. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. It's the right size. You don't have to do anything else. Welcome in, Linda. She is squaring up blocks while listening. I need to square up a whole lot of blocks. I am right there with you. I need to square up a whole lot. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my square, and I'm going to line my ruler up against the diagonal of that square. Now, with that being said, I'm going to give you one tip that I always put into place. Your marker whatever it is, if it is a pencil, a pen, a marker like disappearing ink or mark be gone or whatever it is, it has a little bit of thickness to it. So when you are drawing your lines to make your flying geese wings, please make sure that you are taking into account the thickness of your marker. So if I didn't take into account the thickness of my marker, welcome in, Izzy. Oh, back in the hospital, not cool. But I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so you guys can see the line, and I'm still learning where this camera is, so bear with me. So that line is literally going from corner to corner. Okay, so when you sew this, my right side is up, and of course I drew this with my right side down. So this is wrong side up, and you're going to lay it on top of your fabric piece. Okay, so these two are going to be laid on top of each other, and you're going to make sure this whole area is lined up. Okay, so you don't want anything extra hanging over. You want it to be perfectly lined up. So this looks like a 2.5 inch by 4.5 inch rectangle, and it just has a white square on top of it. It is the exact same size across the board. So that is one thing you want to make sure of when you are doing your flying geese. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark this other one while I'm at it because I've got the markers out. And the one that I use, the purple side of this, is Mark Be Gone. It's air and water soluble. So I just have to blow on it a whole lot or put it in front of a fan or something like that. Or if I leave it just long enough, it'll go away on its own. Okay. So I have tested that on a lot of my fabrics before. They typically come with a purple end and a blue end. The purple end down here is the air and water soluble. The blue end is water soluble only, so it should not go anywhere until you wash it. I'm a little bit more hesitant on using that just because I'm not sure. So here's the next thing. I'm not going to sew directly on the line. So let me get this up to where you guys can see it because I can't zoom in my camera enough because I didn't plan for this very, very well. Right, let's see, there we go. Well, nope, it did not show. There we go. There's that line. Okay, so this bottom corner that's going to be cut off eventually, we're going to sew just to that side of this line. We're not going to sew on the line. We're not going to sew directly through the line. We're going to sew just to the outside. And I am going to start, here's the other thing. So my line goes from here to here across my square. I am going to sew from this point down to here. I don't ever recommend that you start here and sew to the other end because when you start here, it is more likely that your machine, if it's going to eat fabric, it will eat it here, okay? So when you sew this side, we're going to then trim it and press, and then we're going to do the same thing to the other side, and we're going to start again at the middle. So your fabric is going to look a little funky because you are sewing differently. Judy says she adds a mark on the cutoff side. That's not a bad idea. That is not a bad idea. If you know that that side is going to be cut off, especially if you're not going to save it, or you know it's going to wash out or air, evaporate or whatever, then that is absolutely a fantastic idea. Okay, so I do not have my leaders and enders, so let me grab my box. And I have a whole bunch of my half square triangles. And so I can just pull out how many ever I need and feed that through first. And I was sewing on those borders earlier, and I didn't have all of my half square triangles out where I could reach them. So I didn't end on a leader or an ender like I should have. So this machine just handles better if I end on a leader or ender. So you're going to feed your fabric in with that line just to the side of where your needle is. You're going to sew just to the outside of your marked line. The reason for that is you are putting thread in there and you're going to have a seam allowance in there. And so when you fold everything back, you want it to still be the right size. If you don't add, like if you sew directly on that line, it's very easy to go a little short and not have enough room to be able to fold your fabric back. So it's very, very possible. Very possible. All right. So let me put this up in front of the camera and see if I can get it to where you guys can see it. I will work on this camera a little bit more later. Okay, so there's my stitching line. And if you can see, my stitches are just to the side of that line. They're not directly on the line. So you want to make sure that your stitches are just to the outside. Then what you can do, once you've sewn it, you can take it over to your table, fold your triangle back, fold your wing back, and make sure that it looks like it's going to be the same size. And it is. So that looks like a 2.5 inch by 4.5 inch rectangle with a white piece added to it now. Welcome in, Gladys. Glad you're here. All right, so I could go ahead and sew my half square triangles. I'm not going to worry about that. Oh, that stinks, Izzy. I'm glad you know, though. It's good to know. It's better to know than to not know. So I'm going to go ahead and trim off my half square triangles. Okay, so now I have a leader and ender that can go into the machine. And these will come out, again, 1.5 inches is a safe bet about how far you can trim these down. Okay, so now that I've got that trimmed, I'm going to press this back, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this triangle, or that square that's going to become a triangle that I just did with this one. Now, I tend to, as a general rule, I tend to press seams open. If you have been on my channel any length of time, you will know that my preferred method is pressing open. But for the purposes of this quilt, I pressed towards the wings. Carrie says this method is too fiddly for me, so I cut the pieces with my AccuQuilt and just sew them. That is a fantastic cheat. I love that method. Not everybody has the AccuQuilt or the access to the AccuQuilt, so that is, you know, it's a fill-in. It's a fill-in option. This is what we did before we had AccuQuilts. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing here. Now, instead of putting a mark, now that I've thought about it, Judy says she puts a mark on this outside so she knows where that outside is going to go. The other option is if you are a pin person. If you like to use pins, put your pin on the outside edge, the side that you're going to toss anyway into the leaders and enders pile. Then your pins are already in them, and when you trim it off, then all you have to do is sew until you have enough of your pins back, right? Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you so much. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sew. Again, I am sewing from the top point of my flying goose down to the wing. Let me see if I can get my other camera going, because I had it up earlier and I don't know how much you guys can see. So we're going to see how much you can see. I don't know. I don't know what you can see or not see. So we're going to go with that. All right. Welcome in, Tasha. She says, hey, everyone. I'm so glad to see you. Let's see. Carrie says she did that before, but these are her favorite shapes to work with. So invest in the cutter and size dies that I use the most. See, that's fantastic. I wish I could do that. I do not have the resources to do that to the level that I would need to. I work with so many sizes. So many sizes. All right, so I am just sewing straight down right against that line, just to the outside edge. So I know you guys can see me pushing it through the machine, but I know that this light is just still ridiculous. So I'm still gonna work on camera. So bear with me. It is a work in progress. Work in progress. All right. So we're just going to cut this off of the machine. There we go. Absolutely, Izzy. I understand that. All right. Let's see. There we go. I finally got it. My brace is in the way. Okay. So now that we've got that other wing sewn on, all we're going to do is we're going to flip it back and make sure that it is the right size. And surprise, surprise, it is. It is the right size. So we're just going to put our ruler back on. Oh, let me get this back in y'all's view. Rayanne says she has the AccuQuilt but never used it. Absolutely, Rayanne. I absolutely can. So it just depends on what kind of dies you have as far as what we can build. And we can just kind of go from there. So like some of the blocks, like, okay, so let's say you have the 2.5 inch by 4.5 inch Flying Goose set, then you could make this quilt. 670 Flying Geese goes together no problem when you have the die cutting everything out. Oh, good night, Mona. Thank you for being here. Hi, Pam. Glad you stopped in. Thank you. Carrie says if she doesn't have the size the pattern calls for, sometimes change it to work with the size dies I have. See, that's kind of the thing too. And AccuQuilt does have some patterns out there. Not all of them appeal to me. It just depends on what die you have and what kind of look you're wanting to create. So we can absolutely work on that. Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and press this because that's, what we do around here. We press things. I'm glad I now have a cutting station on one side and a pressing station on the other. And if for some reason I need to change everything out, I could absolutely do it. I could move my cutting table to the opposite side and move my ironing board over here, and it would still work. They're both about the same size, so it would work fantastic. All right, so this is the Flying Goose unit that we've just made. All right, so here's one thing that I do recommend. Okay, this is something I did not do with this quilt, and I did lose some points because I didn't do it, and I didn't take my time because I was rushing. I don't recommend rushing. You've got an 8-inch block. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, so if you're going to lay it down and you're going to trim up this block, like just, trim off a thread here and a thread there, take a look. Oh, I am not even in the camera range, guys. Let me get in the camera range. We'll do it that way. Is my machine tilted? It is not. It is. It is perfectly flat. That camera, I just set that up today. So, and it's going to consistently move. So the nice thing is with my current setup, my camera that I'm talking to you guys on normally is directly in front of me. I have a camera over here that is getting my cutting table, what's currently my cutting table. And then those two cameras don't have to ever move. Like they can stay put. I don't have to shift them every live. I don't have to do anything else. This camera right here, this one right here that I'm waving in, that one is movable. So it's on a tripod. I can move it wherever I need to, and I can adjust it every live. So I'm not sure exactly where it's going to be permanently yet. If I can get it to be on something else and stay put, then we'll do that. But I haven't gotten there yet. AccuQuilt is really, really expensive here, and the dies are not easy to get. I'd rather spend that money on fabric. I getcha. For me, if I didn't already own an AccuQuilt cutter, it would not be financially feasible. Okay, so now I've got this where I can see it. Let me move it a little bit more where you guys can see it. I can't zoom in anymore, so we're just gonna go with what we've got. Um, so I'm lining up my 2.5 inch mark down here, and I am making sure that if I trim anything off of this top side, which tends to be your wonky side, that if I trim anything off, that my 1/4 inch marking on my ruler is leaving the top of the point in place. Welcome in, Terry. Glad you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I want to make sure that that 1/4 inch is still gonna let me see that point. Yeah, it does. It does look like that, Alicia. You're right. You're so right. All right, so I just had a little bit of threads. That's all I'm trimming off. But I didn't do that for this quilt. I should have, but I didn't. Learn from my mistakes. Do as I say, not as I do, right? Is that our mantra? Is do as I say, not as I do? Because I feel like that should be our mantra. Um, let's see. Carrie says that she just finished adding the last border to Scrappy Stars quilt. But oh, fantastic! That's so awesome. I can't wait to see it again. I'm so excited. Okay. So, yes. So that is how we're doing Flying Geese. And I apologize for the lighting and all of that. We're still working on it. I think I'm just going to lower that camera is what's going to happen. I think that's what's going to happen. So that was the tutorial that somebody asked for. I don't know what I want to sew now. I don't know. I've got my Echoes quilt hanging out on the table, and I can just trim half square triangles. I've got a whole bunch of them. Gary says, I agree that it's an investment that you need to decide if it's right for you. Chose to get it so I can quilt without adding too much stress on my hands. Yeah, that's kind of the deal, is I need to do that too, and I haven't been. So I need to be using it more, but I don't have a lot of dies. I have just a limited number of dies. Now, one that I've got, where did I put it? I had a quilt out here the other day. Oh, I know where it's at. It's behind. You're so welcome, Cynthia. You're so welcome. Oh, I buried it. It's up here behind everything. I'm not going to grab it. So I have the Winding Ways block. I will be doing Blazing Star. I'm feeling okay. I'm just a little run down, and our elevator is down again, so that's not helping any. So I'm having to climb 3 flights of stairs every time I leave. Carrie says she decided not to add all the orphan blocks that she originally intended because it would have been way too big. Yeah, I understand that too. So yeah, my shirt is actually fibromyalgia. Let's see, it says, don't judge me, you have no idea. And then down here at the bottom, it says what strength it takes to wake up each and every day to battle your own body fibromyalgia awareness. So my mom got me this one. So it's really, yeah, I like it. Oh, dogs and sweaters. Oh, that's a cute pattern. So when you do dogs and sweaters, you can change the sweater colors for every single dog and make each one unique. It is so much fun. So much fun to do. Just make sure. Okay, so my tip when you are working with an Elizabeth Hartman pattern, my experience with them, is cut what you need for the block that you're going to work on. So don't cut the entire quilt at one time, unless you really have a good way to store every last bit of it. Cut one block at a time and sew one block at a time. It is working fantastic for Fab Farm with all the different animals. So I'm doing 4 of every animal. So when I cut the cow, I cut 4 cows. When I cut the horse, I cut 4 horses. I cut the number of blocks I was going to be doing that were identical. Now, granted, I've got 2 horses in one color and 2 horses in another, but I cut all those at the same time. There was no sense in cutting them twice like that. But yeah, anything that you can cut that's identical to each other, that's fine. Just make sure you label everything. Um, Sean from The Guy Who Sews has a little Excel spreadsheet thing that he can send out, or that he sent out to me. And he's offered it before. And it's it's got little 1 inch letters for everything, and it's got double letters and all of that. Yeah, all of Elizabeth Hartman patterns are fabulous. I do somewhere, I believe, still have my Star Systems pattern. So once that quilt is done and quilted, then my Star Systems pattern will be up for grabs. Alicia says, and make sure you know the multiples. She gives one cutting for the small and one for the large. You might need to multiply the amounts for the number of blocks. Yes. So like in Fab Farm, it gives you small cutting instructions, and it gives you the large, and it gives you a layout. I love the layouts. The layouts are like gold for me, because then I can sit there and look at the layout of the pieces that I'm cutting. Welcome in, Becky. She says just listening in. That is absolutely fine. Yeah, so the like for the horse, just for saying, the horse has 2 eyes. Well, if you're doing the small, you only make one horse, so you only need to cut 2. If you are doing the large that I'm doing, you need 4 horses, so you need 8 eyes. So there's going to be a difference in the cutting instructions, but just label everything. If you do want to cut ahead, like go ahead and cut everything for the whole quilt, please make sure you have Ziploc bags or some way to keep all of your different blocks separate. It is absolutely key to lowering your stress levels. Alicia is doing the produce quilt, and she has kitted the robots, and happy Halloween. Oh my gosh. Speaking of, ooh, happy Halloween. Hang on now. I didn't know she had a happy Halloween one. Oh my goodness. Alicia, where have you been? Where have you been? You just now telling me this? Um I got a new pattern, and it's a Christmas pattern. And I'm gonna pick your brain, Alicia, and see if you want to do it with me. If you were up for a Christmas pattern. It is not an Elizabeth Hartman. I don't know if it's still available. I've got to check into all of that. If not, we'll find a different one. We will have something going on. So the next, my dog is dreaming, guys, and he is shaking my cutting table. I just saw my table and things on it move. He is shaking my table. I am going to, what am I going to do? What am I, oh, okay. So April was a freebie quilt. So yay. So June will also be a freebie quilt. June is going to be layer cakes. So while I am on that topic, let me grab my notebook. I feel like this is Blue's Clues, my handy dandy notebook. I watched something Blue's Clues the other day, and I don't know why it came up in my feed or something from, I think it was on Facebook maybe. I don't know. I just know that it was just weird. It was weird. Okay. So you will need 1 layer cake of your color. Okay. So whatever print you want to get, like let's say you are getting something that is like the subscriber that sent me the dog one, the Ruby Star Society layer cake. That's what's going into mine, because I'm keeping that one. I will make another one, but I'm keeping that one. So get a layer cake. It's going to have 42, or make your own layer cake from your scraps. You need 42 10-inch squares of your print, of your focus fabrics. And it's going to have colors all across the rainbow. Most lines like that, most manufacturers do a good deal of everything is all the same. Let's see. Alicia says she didn't label any of her pieces, but organized the fabrics by size and the order of need in the pattern. Oh, there are so many different ones in this fab farm. I don't think I could keep them straight. we are finally down to fewer and fewer pieces now, but oh my gosh, there were some. We were upwards in the double letters. I think we're up to double N. So we went through A through Z, and then double A through double N already. So lots and lots of pieces. Okay, so you'll need one layer cake. You will need 1.5 yards of a background color or background print or background something. You want it to contrast with your layer cake enough that you can see your layer cake. Okay, so you don't want it to be, you don't want your contrast or your background to blend in too much. You want to have some kind of significant difference. So look through your layer cake. If you're making your own layer cake, let's say you want to do all red fabrics and you cut 42 10-inch squares from your red fabrics that you have in your stash, then choose whatever color you want that is not red or close to it, or that does not read as a red. Choose that as your background. Okay. You will need 4 inches by width of fabric as well. That is a coordinating color. You can do that as a print. You can do that as something that matches your layer cake. You can do that as something that matches your background. It doesn't really matter. But if you want to make it different, you can. You will need 1.25 yards of sashing. That can also be your background fabric. So you want it to stand out a little bit. You want it to be a little bit different. And then you'll need 1 yard for your outer borders. And that can be close to your layer cake. It can be farther away. I will post more details about this closer to the end of May or at the beginning of June. So don't panic, because I know I go through it fast. I've got it all written down. I didn't realize you guys could see that. You guys are seeing my planning book. But when I go on road trips, guys, I take my quad rule notebook. It's just like, it's graph paper. I don't know. Maybe it shows up. It's just graph paper. It's just graph paper pad, graph paper notebook, and I draw my designs out. So when you guys are seeing quilts like this, they're in here. That one, let me go to it. Okay. This isn't that one, but I don't know if you guys remember from February, Charmed to Meet You. This is where Charmed to Meet You came from. So I literally drew out what I wanted and made the quilt from that. Let's see. This one behind me, Follow the Goose, is in here. I know it is. That's not it. That's not it. Okay. I didn't color it in. So, but quite literally, it says April freebie pattern up there at the top, and it's got a little bit of a line drawing. I did not color it in. But yeah, so that's how I do my math, guys. Welcome in, Jennifer. Glad you're here. So glad you're here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, what have you guys been up to? What have you guys been up to? Or what are you going to be up to later this week? That's the way I should put it, is what are you going to be up to? Because after I pick my pieces out of the trash can that I just threw them into accidentally, I'm going to be loading a quilt on the frame tomorrow and getting it quilted. And I've got some more sewing to get done on the October giveaway quilt. Gosh, what else am I going to be doing? Oh, Thursday, we've got Kathy coming from My Hobby Home, and I am going to try tomorrow to get my extra rows put on my quilt and get that up behind me as well for Land That I Love. And I'm going to try to get the other design wall up and running. So I'm going to be busy tomorrow. So busy. I might do a pop-up live. I don't know. We'll just see how I'm doing. We'll see how I'm doing. It is working out fantastic, Terry. It's a learning curve. It is a learning curve. If you've never worked on a digitized frame before, it's a little bit to learn. It's not bad. Um, I'm a little slow sometimes when it comes to sitting down and taking the time to learn a new software. I kind of dig in my feet a little bit. That's all very neat. My quilt math is all notes and scribbles, right? My quilt math is not. My quilt math is as neat as I can possibly make it because I know I'm gonna have to read it again later. Alicia says her guild had a class on tumbler quilts last weekend and now going tumbler crazy working on row quilts with 2 different size tumblers. Okay, so the quilt that is in my background, that is a tumbling block quilt, is not done with tumblers, is it? No, it's not. It's done with trapezoids. Okay, never mind. I'm speaking out of turn. I do have the tumbler die, but I've not done a lot with tumblers. So I guess that could be one thing I cut some of my scraps into, maybe. I don't know. I need to cut some scraps. Linda says she finally got in her sewing today, working on Friendship Star quilt using Crown Royal bags. It's being donated. That sounds gorgeous. It sounds gorgeous. Amanda says she's basting another quilt top Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. She'll be doing a YouTube live. Not sure my topic yet. That's exactly the same time I'm live. Oh no! I'm 6 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 8 p.m. Eastern. That's when I have Kathy from My Hobby Home hanging out with me. But I will definitely come back and watch replay, Amanda. I will have to come watch replay. I'm so sorry I won't be able to be there. Judy says that she has 3 more curtains to make and then stitch and quilt. She's using some big and small panels and squares, and she has to math. Yeah, I understand math. Yeah, math. That quilt top that I was working on, was that? That was not Sunday night, was it? That was, maybe that was Friday night, my pop-up stitch, when I was working quilt math. Yeah, I know I know how that goes. Pam says the daughter and friend coming tomorrow to put the long arm in. Oh, that's awesome. That is so awesome. One more item unpacked, right? Right. I still have my vintage machine that I want to test, but I can't get it down the stairs and get it back up the stairs. So I can't do much with it. Carrie says she needs to shop for quilt backings. Her flimsy bin is full. Oh, welcome in, Giovanna. Glad you're here. Yay! Yay! So I am going to be buying from Marshall's Dry Goods in the next couple of days, I think. I just gotta wait until everything falls into place. But for my Quilts of Valor group, I'll be buying from Marshall's Dry Goods. So we have some quilt front, fabric for quilt fronts and quilt backing all at the same time. So I've got some quilts, but I need to get some more backing ready because I've got 3. I need to have 4 done so we can do an award in June. Lives aren't too long. Maybe I can catch yours after. Oh, please do. Absolutely. I don't know how long Kathy and I will go. It just depends on how she's feeling and how detailed our blocks are. So we pick a different block each week that we are working through. We are trying to get our Land That I Love quilts done. And I don't know how many weeks we got left. I really don't. I think I calculated that it was going to take us through July. We've had a couple of weeks off. So I don't know. I don't know where we're at with that. I'm going to have to go see. Pam says Marshall's has some great backings. I was in their backing club for a bit. Ooh. Great savings, but random. But that's cool. I didn't know they had a club. Oh my gosh. Ugh. I might have to reserve some money. We might have to see if I can work that into the budget because I'm finishing so many quilts. I have no backing for this yet, so I've got to figure out where my backing is or what it's going to be. Welcome back, Chloe. She says she is back, guys. She is back. I am songs in my head, guys. Songs. Carrie was looking at their website earlier. She's going to get a bolt of 108, and that should do all of them. Ah, that would be cool. I would love to buy like a bolt of 108 just for the purposes of having that available, but I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready. I don't think. Maybe I am. And maybe I'm just overthinking it. We're just going to assume that Tammy's overthinking it because when is Tammy not overthinking things, right? Pam says that she finds picking backings very daunting. So I think my biggest struggle picking a backing was actually the one that's about to get loaded on the long arm. It is a teal quilt. Let me see if I can do this. Bear with me just a second. And let's see. Let's take some cameras down for just a second and move this back over. And let me see if I can fix it. Found a Diet Coke with my name on it. Still haven't found Tammy. Oh, no, that's okay. So I got a keychain today, a key fob, and it says Alabama, but it's misspelled, and it's hilarious. Welcome in, Rita. She's been here, but lurking, and she knows the lurking. Katie struggles with backing too. Still have not found a backing that she wants for the back of her Sugary Dew quilt top. Yeah, absolutely. Let me do this real quick. Bear with me just a second. And we are going to see if I can show you guys what I've got going. Because I'm going to have to pull all these pins out, so it's not ready to load on right this second. Let's see. Let's turn that back on. And let me adjust it because it is way zoomed in. And it does not need to be for these purposes. Okay. That's about as good as I'm going to get, I think. All right, let's go ahead and bring you guys over so you guys can see it. All right, so the quilt that is on the frame right now, it is not loaded actually on the frame. Okay, so do not think that I have loaded this on the frame. It is not loaded yet. It's just laying over the rails. I did that so that it could get some of the wrinkles out before I try to load it, so I don't have to do as much. So it is teal and browns and creams and a little bit of like off-white in all of the fabrics. So the little the big flowers and all of that, the brown ones, that's what they are. They're not black. But this was a BQ5 pattern, I think. I think that's the name of it, was BQ5. I want to say, don't quote me. But my batting, you can see that on the right side, it is way bigger than it needs to be. You can see at the bottom, my batting and backing are way bigger than they need to be. That backing is really big. It is minky. It will be my first minky quilt to quilt on my own frame. But that's the quilt that I'm going to be loading on. When I made that quilt, there was no idea in my head what I was going to do with it. Like, I had no idea for backing. I had no ideas for anything. I happened to find this quilt top. I didn't know I still had it. I didn't know it was never done. So I found the quilt top, and when I took it to Hobby Lobby, because I have Hobby Lobby in town, um, the teal that's going on the back is not the same color of teal that is in the quilt, but it's close enough, it will look okay. So sometimes you kind of have to just bear with it a little bit, maybe. Carrie says she likes to make scrappy backings with the fabric she uses on the top, as long as the pieces are fat quarter sized or bigger. I just don't have any big pieces like that left in my scrap bin. Yeah, there's a lot. There's no way. Um, let's see. Marshall Dry Goods has the best prices for 108, says Terry. Yeah, they do. They really do. Um, let's see. Terrible for not buying backing fabric until I'm ready to quilt the top, right? I so sometimes I do. Sometimes I buy the backing beforehand, but sometimes I don't. It's still the same problem. It's still that de Quervain tendinosynovitis. So I haven't been able to go to the doctor about it and get it surgically fixed or anything happen to it. Um, and I've been overusing. I know that's shocking because it's coming from me. But I've been overusing my hand, and that cyst has actually moved up into that sheath that's supposed to not allow it to move. So my hand is a little bit more tender than normal. Um, so it's just precaution. It's just temporary. I put it on after the live started. Pam says, me too, Zelza, but that's mainly because I've been piecing forever and only been getting things quilted for a couple of years. We were supposed to get the backing when we buy the fabric for the top. Sometimes. Sometimes. Joy says that her first quilt she made is so wonky, she's decided what she's going to do with it is going to use it for backing on a quilt since it's so big. That's a fantastic idea, Joyce. That's so fantastic. So, like, sometimes I know what the size of the quilt is going to be. Sometimes I don't. And sometimes I have an idea of what it's going to look like. And sometimes I don't. So it just depends on what's going on. So when one of the quilts of valor that I made was the New Year's Day mystery from Stitch in Heaven. In that New Year's Day mystery, they went ahead and told us what size backing we needed to make to have for the quilt. So I went ahead and bought backing and binding in the same color for that quilt. Right, Giovanna? She says, really? You overuse? I would never have thought that was possible, right? Me? Me? Yeah, me. But I think every other quilt that I've got that's ready for like new homes or whatever, I don't think I bought any of those backings when I was working on the quilt. I don't think I did. And if you buy a quilt kit, then it's really hard to buy the backing unless you just go ahead and buy it. I got really lucky with some of the Joann sales. Managed to get quite a few pieces that were big enough for backings. So I've got some yardage that is big enough for backings. I could back this in safety orange. That would be super bright. Um, Zaza says if I want a coordinated backing, I might be organized, but I like to back my quilts with flannel, and I buy flannel sheets as they are pre-shrunk. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea at all. I like that idea. I have not bought. I'm gonna take this camera down. I have not bought backings in a hot minute. It's been a bit. It's been a bit. Oh no, says Chloe. You don't want safety orange on the back of this. It would not be it would not be pretty. I mean, there's a little bit of almost safety orange in it. I probably have plenty of safety orange in both flannel and cotton. Yeah, I've got it in cotton, guys. Oh. Um, Someone has been dropping off bags of fabric and scraps. Sheets are always good and cheap. They are. They so are. Katie says it's been a minute since she's bought any fabric. Me too. I keep getting it though. I don't have to buy it for right now. Um, so, hmm. Yesterday, yesterday, I was at my open sew, and 1 week ago, somebody came in and dropped off a bag of quilt fabric. Um, quilt quality cotton, like it's good quality cotton, and it looked like it was all scraps, so nobody else wanted to touch it. I am the designated scrap person in all of my quilt groups. I mean, I use all the way down to 1 inch squares. So I am the designated scrap person. I do not mind. Um, so everybody was like, okay, it's Tammy's, that's fine. And so yesterday when I went, somebody came in. They did not just leave it at the door like they did the week before. They left it all the way into the hallway where we go back for a quilt group. They just left it in the hallway. They just came in, dropped it off, and left. And I never heard them, so I didn't know that they were there. But I happily picked them up and took them with me, and they are currently in the garage because I can't lift them up the stairs. They're much cheaper than buying flannel yardage, too. I had not thought about doing that. I might have to consider that. Giovanna is suggesting a gray as a backing for this. That's not a bad idea. I don't have a lot of gray though. I have some blues, I have some greens. I don't know what I'm going to use yet. I don't know. It's whatever I come up with. So I've got this one and a Quilt of Valor, and then I've got 2 or 3 others that I've got to find backings for too. Pam says that she buys scrap bags when she shop hops, but gets stumped when it comes time to make something. Yeah, that is a lot of fabric, Giovanna. You are not wrong. So this quilt is all scrappy, aside from the white. So the white fabrics are all the same fabric, but everything else in it is 100% scrappy, aside from obviously the matching flying geese. So you can do something like that. You can, I mean, it just depends on the size of the scraps too. It just depends. Oh my goodness, guys. I am so sorry. Not trying to do that. Not trying, because I know it's contagious. So, yeah. You guys can be mad at me all you want. Because I'm yawning. Let's see, what else do I mean, I need to get into my scraps and go through them some more. I just think that sheets or those fleece throws make great backing. I'm not doubting that. I just haven't done it yet. It's not that it's not okay to do. It's just that I haven't done it yet. I need to get off my duff and do it, but I just haven't yet. I haven't bit the bullet and done that. Giovanna says she has a lot of scrap white fabric. Yeah. I don't normally have a lot of white in my scraps. That's why white is typically a good option for me. I do have a lot of black in my scraps though, so I can't usually use black. So, I mean, I don't know. I got so many half square triangles, guys. We're gonna do something with them, I promise. I promise we will. So, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I'm tired. I think I'm hitting that exhaustion point too. I think that's what it is too. Yeah, I can't get to my scrap boxes without moving things. I mean, I can get to them from the other side of the shelving unit, but I can't get to them from this side without moving things. I'm not ready to move things tonight. I'm not ready. I could sew a little bit. You guys tell me. You want me to sew? I will sew. If not, we'll call it, you tell me. You tell me, what would you like me to do? I do have something I can sew. Time for bed, says Chloe. I am Oh gosh, I'm totally there with you. Totally there. Oh, I need to sew. I really do, but do I want to at the moment? I'm not sure. Uh, Definitely get some rest, Chloe. Giovanna's telling you take some days off. Easier said than done. Yeah, I probably do need some rest. So today, okay, so yesterday I vacuumed out the car. I took the vacuum. Oh, Chloe will be up for a little bit longer. Okay. Um, so I took the vacuum cleaner downstairs, plugged it up in the garage, and vacuumed my car out to get all of Paladin's hair that I could out of my car. And then I grabbed the Armor All cleaning wipes and wiped down all the like surfaces. Oh, she will be with the impending strike at the hospital. Ah, that stinks. That's not the way to do it though. Like that's not the way to take the time off. Um, so I did the Armor All wipes and wiped everything down. The vacuuming took forever. And I did find my sunglasses that I lost when I drove to Billings. So now I have two pairs of sunglasses, both prescription. Let's see. So yesterday was that, and then the elevator broke, and then I went to sewing night. Um, Good question, Nanette. She is asking why the strike. Now, are you part of the strike line, or you have to be part of the strike line? Is screaming to you, let me rest, right? um, when, yeah, my hand, yeah, absolutely. When I have to wear those brace things on my hand, I cannot do much of anything. They make me so my fingers just barely move due to metal braces. And yeah, there's a metal brace right here down the center, and there is a metal brace right here, holding my thumb out like that. Um, so I mean, I can still quilt and sew. I can't cut very well, so like cutting is out of the question. I'm not doing any cutting. But I can still sew. It's just I've come to realize that I just have to work around whatever. That's just the way things work for me. Um, but so I vacuumed and then went to sew night. And then what else did I do? Oh, gotcha. The low wage increases and lessening of medical benefits. Ah. Well, wear sunscreen. When you go to that strike line, wear sunscreen. Just saying. No skin cancer from hanging out in the sun. Just saying. Um, and then today, uh, my vacuum cleaner's still downstairs, and I can't haul it up the stairs. And I didn't ask Tom to because he really doesn't need to. He could, but he probably doesn't need to. Um, so he swept the patio for me, and we have carpet on the patio. It is pre-attached. We cannot take it up. It is, you know, it's the apartment complex's carpet. So I took the shampooer out there, and the shampooer hasn't been used except for like once since we've moved in here, because we keep everything fairly neat and clean and haven't needed to shampoo everything. But the patio needed it. So I took it out there and it's broken. So I'm going to have to order a part for it. I cut my finger, fixing it. I hobbled it along. Um, but I did that today, and I also went out to the range. A whole bunch of stuff. Um, no, I didn't see that. That's cool to know though that he's talking about it. Welcome in, Ollie. Katie was asking if everybody saw where John Cena was talking about his skin cancer and sunscreen. I did not see that. So back home in Alabama, not here, obviously, but back in Alabama, um, I didn't wear sunscreen a lot. And I mean, I would wear a sunscreen if I knew I was going to be outside, sitting out for hours, that kind of thing. I would wear sunscreen. Um, but just everyday stuff, I wouldn't wear it. Here, because of the altitude and because we are closer to the sun during summer, um, it seems many flying geese are in my future, says Chloe, right? Aren't they gorgeous? Aren't they gorgeous? 670 of them. Um, so the here I have to absolutely put sunscreen on. I use 100 SPF just because I burn so easily. Chloe says no, but I need to wear sunscreen. Yes, you need to. Good night, Carrie. Good luck for your early morning. Katie gets sun poisoning with her lips. Oh gosh, that's rough. I went out Thursday and um I sat on the patio for maybe half an hour and I was in a tank top and just, sports bra, so like, very thin straps and all. And I came back in and didn't realize it until later, but I got a little bit of sun, a little bit of burn. Um, Joyce says she wears sunscreen anytime she goes out, right? I don't. I did not have to do that in Alabama, but I do have to do that here. I burn so easily. I burned back in Alabama too, but I burn faster here than I did in Alabama. But that's okay. Um, it's it's a little bit easier to wear sunscreen here because now I'm not sweating it all off every half hour to 2 hours. Alabama, it's so humid, you're just sweating it all off. Katie says that she thinks it was called by all the hours sitting on a horse racing in the sun constantly, possibly. Susie says she had a skin cancer biopsy and doctor called today and said it was benign. Oh, that's great news. Giovanna says that she lives dangerous. She doesn't wear sunscreen. Oh, yeah, that is dangerous. That is very, very dangerous. My husband doesn't wear as much sunscreen as he should. Um, and I really wish he would wear sunscreen more often. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. Linda says, wear sunscreen, guys. My husband got melanoma twice and almost died the second time. Ouch. Yeah, I've talked to him about wearing sunscreen, so he will do it. But does he? Meh. It's getting through that male brain. Giovanna says the atmosphere is thinner at the high altitude. It is. Katie says she didn't wear sunscreen. She wears clothes. Yeah, no, I have to enjoy the sun hitting my skin. I need to feel that. It just helps me so much. Um, like if I was gonna go, like I mean, I don't know. I don't know. If when I go to the ballpark, like I'll wear a short sleeve shirt, like this, but like short sleeves. Or I will wear a tank, with my shoulders showing. Um, oh, Joyce is allergic to sun rays. Ouch, that hurts. Then yes, yes. Ollie limits his time in the sun. Got burnt really bad as a kid and never again. I got burnt as a kid and I still do it. I still push myself. Um, but tomorrow our neighbors are moving in upstairs. It caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting to suddenly hear something again. So our temperatures are going to drop starting tomorrow. We have been in the 70s and 80s during the day, and um, it's now saying tomorrow is going to get up to 77, but I don't know because all the other all the other forecasts have said otherwise. But then it's going to be 59, 60, 66. We're going to have a 41-degree day coming up, below freezing temperatures at night. My plants are going to have to come inside. Yeah, all of that. All of that fun stuff, right? Rita says she has it as a type of surface skin cancer caused by exposure to sun, so she has to be extra careful. Cannot have any skin exposed if I go outside. That's rough. So rough. Katie says I got smart with me, or with when I am in the sun with lesser clothes on. Here I can sit in the sun for a bit with little worry, just enough to get some vitamin D, and then it's on with long sleeves. Yeah. Pam says I'm mainly an indoor girl. Maybe that will change now that I'm retired. However, Pacific Northwest is more cloudy than sunny. You are not joking. You are not joking. Oh, Giovanna, you're so silly. She says, Joyce, you're a vampire? I did not know that. Rita says she would trade me. You can come up here. I don't mind. I'm not moving down there. No. I'm not moving to the 100 and something degree temperatures. I'm good. Right where I am. I'm good. um, well, guys, I think I am going to go find myself a snack and possibly get in bed early because I got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. I may come back in here and sew just a little bit for a little while. Just depends on how I'm feeling. But I think I am going to call it. Lori is wearing dresses now. That's nice. I haven't worn a dress in so long. I need to pull my dresses out. We've been in the upper 70s, low 80s, and had 90-degree day yesterday. Ouch! I'm just so glad to not not be that high of temperatures right now. Good night, everyone, says Judy. Absolutely, Judy. Thank you so much. 6:30 and it's only 107. No, I'm good. Well, guys, I will be live Thursday night. We will have Kathy from My Hobby Home here. We will be working on Land That I Love. And this upcoming Sunday is After Sunset Sunday with Sean from The Guy Who Sews. So we will be working on Fab Farm on Sunday. I might do a pop-up either tomorrow or Friday. Just keep that in mind. If you see me go live, it's just an impromptu stitch. It's not going to be something planned. It's going to be come hang out and chat with me while I sew, and that's about it. Like, we're not going to do anything fancy. We're just going to see. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate every last one of you. If you've not petted some fabric, go pet some fabric. Go get that serotonin boost. It is so therapeutic. It's absolutely worth it. Even if it is just sewing just a few stitches, is so worth it. So I'm going to sign off for tonight, but I will see you guys Thursday for sure, and then Sunday for sure, and then possibly a couple of pop-ups, just depending on how things are going. You guys have a great evening. Enjoy your evening and go pet that fabric. Oh, I feel like you just work. I did just work on Fab Farm, Chloe. You are not wrong. All right, you guys have a great